Welcome everybody to the St. Charles 2021 Open. I'm your commentator Josh Chung, and we are here today in Wentzville, Missouri at Indian Camp Creek for the final round of the lead card. This course has a lot of OB everywhere. You really want to stay in the middle of the fairway. There are some holes where you have to hit some tight gaps, but for the most part the name of the game is staying in bounds. Let's look at our leaderboard for today. We got Victor leading the card at +2, Andy Roebuck +7, Jake Coons +8, Craig Beckler +9, and Joseph's rounding that out at +10. So let's meet our feature player for today. We got Andy Roebuck coming off a sweet top finish at the Indian Camp Creek Flex, actually at the same course. There were only 4 people in the entire thing, but he did come out on top. He has improved his 2-meter putts and has also improved on his tree hit percentage, so I'm really looking forward to see how he does today. Let's get into hole 1. Hole 1 is par 4, 531 feet, OB across the entire sides of the fairway, so you really want to put something in the middle, probably stick with something a bit more overstable, hang it out a bit right, so let it fade back. Andy's going with his Halo Wraith, and that is a great shot, hanging out wide, trusting that it would fade back. And he should have about 250 left, maybe 200. That first drive is always nerve-wracking, especially with OB on both sides. So that was a good job on Andy. Let's see if he can capitalize. And it looks like he's going with his verdict here, hanging out wide. That is looking great. Going to fade back into the circle. He's going to have a birdie putt. Always a good one to start with. Got a bit of a tester. It's always nervous getting to that first putt, especially when it's about 20 to 25 feet. We'll see how he does. Oh, and leaves it a bit short. You could kind of tell that he was a bit nervous there. Andy, as a kid, was diagnosed with hyperhidrosis, so he's probably just drying off his hands, but that is not his usual routine. So kind of went out of rhythm there, but not a bad first hole. Let's get into hole 2. Par 3, 417 feet, an absolute crush. I don't know who's really getting there. There's OB on the right and left again, so you're just trying to stay in bounds for that upshot. There aren't going to be many people going for the green here. I think Andy is going to be going with his force. Let's see what he does. That looks like a good line, but that needs to get down, and needs to get down quick. And I think that stays in bounds, it was a great drive. Actually, a really well thrown shot, and about 5 feet away from being out of bounds. So Andy's going to be having a pretty short look. But, ooh, he yanks that upshot a bit with his zone there. He's going to have a inside the circle putt, but not a gimme right here. And once again, leaves it short, does not make the correction from hole 1. He's going to be going away with his bogey. Honestly, not that bad though. This was the hardest hole on the course, coming in at 1.58 over par, so getting a bogey actually isn't losing that many strokes to the field. Hole 3 is a par 4, 480 feet. Once again, OB on right and left. It's a bit shorter than hole 1, so you can take a bit of power away from your shot, get in the middle of the fairway, and then get a pretty easy shot into the green. Andy once again going with this Halo Wraith. And that is a great shot right in the middle of the fairway. If that just sticks, yep, that is a great shot. And let's get into the form. Let's see what it looks like. You can see good reach back. Pull through looks good. Great nose angle if we were trying to throw to the moon, but unfortunately we are not. So that is something Andy's going to have to correct later. But overall, a pretty good shot. Nice pull through. Good control. Just a little correction on the nose angle there. So as you can see, it's a great shot. About 150 feet out. A little uphill. Going once again with his verdict. Hangs it out right. And that is flying true. That is almost going to be a tap-in. Pretty close. Let's see if he's able to make this putt. Great putt. for his birdie. Good bounce back after that bogey, that missed upshot. Let's get into hole 4. Par 5, 739 feet. You're going to start out OB once again on both sides. Just get a drive in the middle of the fairway, and then you're going to have another pretty far shot, and then into the green from there. And Andy pulls this, and I think that is going to be OB, unless that hooks up. And yeah, that is going to be OB, but I think it was in the middle of the fairway for a decent amount of time, so he's going to get pretty far up the fairway. Looks like it. Going with the forehand, that's looking pretty good. Does get rejected by that tree there, but got good distance down the fairway, and he's pretty much avoided all the OB from there on. This is a pretty tough green to get into. You got to get through some trees, and then it's going to be off to the right. That's a bit high, and oh my gosh, what a kick. That thing just sprayed out of that tree right there and just got a massive skip. And he is going to be parked almost for his par save. That's incredible. Really wasn't expecting that after that drive. Very nice. Incredible par. Hole 5, par 3, 432 feet. Another really tough hole. Uphill almost all of the way, and once again OB on both sides. Looking for really par at best here, unless you somehow get a massive roller. And he's throwing, not sure what it is, but I know that is going to be going OB once again. Not what you want to see from 2 back-to-back drives. And he's going with a high hyzer into the green with his Firebird. I think that I got up there. Let's see where he is after that shot. Yeah, he does get up there. This is just inside the circle, a little uphill. Oh, nicks the chains, but that is going to be a double bogey. It didn't really feel like a double bogey just because of how tough this hole is. But a double bogey nevertheless, and that is always something you don't want. About to try to hit us with his disc. Bit of frustrated, you can kind of tell. Hole 6, par 3, 225 feet, really tight gap. You want to just be throwing a mid-range or something overstable to miss the trees on the right. See what he does. And he's going with his Firebird, and he misses his gap, but finds another one. Does hit a tree, but doesn't get a terrible kick, and he's got a pretty close shot for his par. That thing almost went vertical there, but it works. Going to be cleaning up his par here. Pretty tough hole to get his birdie, but the par is not too bad here. Hole 7 is a par 3, 234 feet, straight and then to the left, but it's a really tight gap. There is a bit more room on the right, so you could probably hang something really overstable if you wanted to, or take an inside gap, which I think that's what Andy's going to be doing right here with his verdict. He pures it. That is beautiful. That is going to be pretty close to the basket. Probably one of the better shots you're going to see on this hole. As you can see, his fellow players are also quite impressed. He's going to be having about a 30-footer. This is a bit of an elevated basket, but not too elevated. Bit elevated for him, though. He's left that a bit short. Tap and par, not too bad. Pretty tough hole to birdie as well. I mean, about 0.26 over par. Let's get to hole 8. Hole 8 is par 3, 396 feet. Once again, almost impossible to birdie. It is off and to the left after you get 396 feet down the fairway. OB once again on the right, and we did miss Andy's first shot, but we're going to be replicating here exactly what it looked like. Just imagine a disc right down the fairway, right into a tree. But he has a really short upshot for his par, going with his own. Hangs that out right, lets it fade into the green, and that is going to be a short putt for par. This is one of the tougher holes on the course, coming in at 1.08 over par. So if he makes this, which he does, that is a great par. Almost feels like a birdie. Let's get into hole 9. Par 3, 315 feet. really hard to get to the green because you have a lot of short guardian trees in front, so you have a pretty low ceiling off the drive. If you're able to miss those trees, you're able to get pretty close to the green. Goodness gracious. Wow. I don't know what he's doing there. A new ritual? Something like that. Works pretty well, though. Maybe you should do that all the time, because that is through the gap and could be pretty close to the green. Pretty much a circle 2. Look, right here. He hasn't had many circle 2s yet. That's what he's known for. Let's see. And yes, circle 2 layup indeed. His bread and butter. Gonna be getting another par. Not too bad though on this hole. Cleans that up pretty nicely. And let's move on to hole 10. Hole 10's uphill, 204, par 3. One of the easier holes on the course. You just want to throw something pretty straight. You do have a bit of a ceiling though. You want to be missing those trees up there. But as long as you get something in between that ceiling, it's going to be a pretty short hole for you. And he once again is going with his verdict. Something that he always trusts. Throws it a bit high and
yeah, just had a piece of tall grass
hits that tree right there. And he is going to have outside the circle putt. Gives it a pretty good bid, but loses it a bit short. And a pretty interesting roll there. Not too far, but always your second putt after you should have a pretty easy par is always nerve-wracking. Almost touches the cage on that one, but he's able to get it over, get that par. And we're moving on to hole 11. Hole 11 is par 3, 375 feet. It's a pretty tough hole. You're going to be going downhill, but OB all across the fairway on both sides. Once again, you just want to get something in the middle of the fairway. And he's throwing his force, and that is pulled. If that does not come back, I don't know if he went in the fairway. I don't know if that's in or not, and I don't think the players know either. Looks like he's going to be playing a provisional here. You better hope that that provisional does not mean anything, because if so, that is going to be tough. And once again, he pulls it. Oh my gosh, if that first shot did not get in, that's definitely OB, so we're going to see what happens here, folks. Hopefully he stays in. And oh my gosh, he is 2 feet from staying out of bounds. That is his first shot, so he's going to be putting for his birdie right there. That is a narrow miss. Looks like he's not going to even try to go for it. Just get that layup and settle for his par. That was an exciting hole right there. Somehow we got through. Not sure how. Hole 12, par 3, 282 feet. It's going to be a little downhill. You can probably throw a forehand. The OB is on the left, but you don't want to be skipping left to get into that OB. And I think that's what Ian's going to go with. He's going with a felon. Butter. That's looking great. That needs to slow down a bit after the skip, though. Great shot. He is inside the circle, a little uphill. See if he can make it. The name of the game today, ladies and gentlemen, is short. He is once again short on the green. Another par. Pretty good drive, but you kind of want to capitalize on that. He's still in second, but if he wants to start catching up to the leader, he needs to put some birdies together. Hole 13 is a par 3, 171 feet. It's going to be a forehand pretty much. Really tight gap, and let that disc fade at the very end. Let's see what he does. Looks like he's going to be going with his zone here. Pretty smooth release, a bit high, and fading out right a bit early. He's just outside the circle, but in a pretty difficult spot to get his putt. Really good bid there, but off the cage. That cage is his best friend right now. Another par. Hole 13 was 0.05 under par, but not losing too many strokes from that. Hole 14 is a par 4, 513 feet, all the way uphill. You just want to get something in the middle of the fairway because once again you got OB on the right and left. So I think Andy, not sure what he's going to be going with here. Thinking that's his Halo Wraith. That almost skips OB, but he is safe. And he's going to be going with this Felon. Gets a little ante on it. It's a bit high, but that is looking great. That is going to fade back, and I think that is in the circle for a birdie. Yeah, it's going to be out about 20 feet again. This time he is not short though, ladies and gentlemen, and he's got a birdie. Great putt there. This hole came in at .95 over par, so a really good hole to be had. He's going to be moving on to hole 15, which is a par 3, 340 feet. It's off and to the right, so you're going to want to be throwing something, probably your forehand if you got one.
Like inside
as far as you can go.
I think
you can.
Like the skinny
The cameraman's being really annoying. Sorry about that. Not sure what's going on there. Whips a forehand down there with his Felon. That's a great shot. Goes a bit too far actually and hits the tree, but not going to be really getting a birdie, but a pretty easy layup for the par, which isn't bad at all on this hole. This hole came in a whole stroke over par. 1.02. So good hole to get a par on. Hole 16 is a par 3, 351 feet. Really tough hole. You got OB all on the left side. You try to make the green if you're going to get a forehand there, but if you have a backhand, you're probably just going to lay up to this landing zone about 250 feet ahead.
Oh no, there's coolers.
And he looks like he's going for his forehand here. He's got to put some pressure on the leader. And if we had a better budget, we could zoom, but we can't. I think that this pushed too far left, and that is going to be OB, unfortunately. Going to be laying up about 150 feet out. And that does not make... That's going to be another OB. And he's losing focus here. I think he's just really out of it now after that OB. Be laying up. Just, oh my gosh, almost goes OB again with a triple bogey. Quite unfortunate. First place is pretty much out of the talks here. But he needs a focus or he could lose that second place as well. Hole 17 is a par 3, 342 feet. There's a bunch of trees at first, so I think Andy's going to be going... Is he going over the top? He is. Going with a force. And where does that go? I think that goes OB as well. Got the distance though, so I think that was a great disc selection. Just a little bit unlucky. Lays up. It's going to be for his bogey. Not too bad. Moving on to the final hole. Hole 18, it's a par 3, 444 feet. Really fun hole. Downhill all the way, and then dog legs to the left at the very end. Just a good hole to end on, no matter what position you're in. Andy's still in second, but way out of position to get in that first place. So let's just see him rip it. And rip it he does. That looks great. That's going to skip into the woods. Not OB. So he's going to be looking at a pretty short upshot for his par. And a great upshot he had. A great round by Andy. Just that triple bogey kind of hurt him at the end. Going to be pretty short putt for his par. Great tournament from Andy. Second place is nothing to be ashamed of. But let's get his thoughts after this tournament. Let's hear from him right here.
Second place finish. How do you think you did?
Not bad. Had a rough second round, but first and third round we did pretty good. A lot of OB out here on the third round, but didn't have too many OB strokes.
Going forward into the NADGT Championship, how do you think you're gonna fare after going through this?
I think it prepared me well. I think I'm ready. As long as I just don't listen to Josh on any of my disc choices going forward, I think I'll be fine. So, yeah.
I don't agree with that, but okay. Thanks for talking, and yeah.
Not the best chemistry there with that interview. I don't think they knew each other that well, so you can understand why. But let's look at these final scores. Victor Williams, great round. +2, ended at +4. Andy, our feature player, +5, was able to stay in second place at +12 overall. Really good tournament by him and all of our other players. I just want to thank you all for tuning in. We are still looking for a sponsor, so hey, if you want some coverage of some great MA3 players, maybe we'll get a couple MA2 players in here. I don't know. You can mix it up a little bit, but just let me know and we can make that happen for you. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you around again soon.